In this video, we're going to talk about how do we calculate numbers on a rental property, how do we calculate net operating income and the cash flow, making sure that you don't lose any money. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam Kwak, one of the Kwak Brothers, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to calculate numbers on a rental property. Now, there are different ways to do it, and we're going to go and show you guys a general method that Daniel and I usually follow, more of a template on how do we calculate numbers on rental properties. So, the first thing that we do, and the very important thing we have to remember, is we need to understand where do we start. The first thing that we start with, we have to understand what is your gross market rent. And your gross market rent is the amount that your local market is willing to pay for a given bedroom size and the type of property. So you may have an apartment, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or you may have a single family residential, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Both may have a different varying amounts as far as the rent. Okay, so you need to make sure when you do apples to apples comparison, if you have a single family residential, be sure to compare single family residential properties that are in your area, exact same bedroom counts, exact same bathroom counts. So what I typically like to do is find 3 properties or three rental units that is very similar to yours. Okay, so we're talking about square footage. Okay, we also have to be mindful of the bedroom and bathroom counts. Okay. And bath counts. You also have to be mindful of the type of the property. Okay, so this is just a general information. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And you also have to remember location, right? You don't want to compare a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. Your 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with another 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment 30 miles down the road, right? You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that they're within the same market and they have similar varying locational factors. So once we have that established, we want to find 3 rental units. Let's say rental unit A, okay, is $1,200 a month. Rental unit B, let's say, is $1,150 a month. And rental unit C is, let's say, $1,275 a month. Now, one of the things that you should pay attention to, I know $1,250 and $1,150, $1,275, they're not very big differences, but it matters a lot. Like a $25 difference is a huge difference when it comes to your rental rate. There will be tenants that pick $1,150, okay, because it's cheaper, right? Knowing that all 3 rental units are pretty much identical. So you have to justify your price, right? If it's $1,275, well, why is it that rental unit C can charge $1,275 and that rental unit B is charging $1,150? Well, that's because rental unit $1,275 has a better view. It's got a balcony. It's less noisy. It's off of the major roads. Maybe $1,150, the unit B is on a major road, right? There's cars going back and forth. It's not the best location. So the price has to justify the cost, the value, right? The tenants are getting. So you have to kind of put your rental unit at a place where, okay, am I more of a rental unit B? Am I more of a rental unit C? Or am I more of a rental unit A, where I'm kind of in the middle, right? So once you determine, okay, maybe I am in the more of the middle, I'm going to be a rental unit A based on that other rental A's in the area are charging this amount and they have similar features that my rental unit has. Cool? So once we establish, okay, this is the gross market rent, we know that tenants will pay $1,200 a month and we justify it with the value and the features and the benefits that our rental unit is delivering. So once we have, let's say, determined $1,250 as our rent, okay, we start to analyze the number. So $1,200 a month is our gross rent. That's where we start. The first thing that we want to take out is the first decision you got to make is, do you want to hire a property manager or do you want to manage yourself? Now, this is a question that I get a lot, and my answer generally has been hire a property manager. And the reason being is that when you manage the property yourself, okay, you still have to put in the time, the effort. And your time, guys, is money, right? Whether you pay someone else to manage the property for you or you manage yourself, okay, there's gonna be cost no matter what. Okay, you're not really gaining much when you decide to manage your property yourself or have someone else manage your property. Other than the fact that if you know that you can make more money by having others manage the property for you and focus on buying your next rental, then yeah, that's probably ideal. However, if you know that what you currently make is less than the hours that you're putting into managing, then probably managing yourself might have some benefits. For example, let's say you make $15 an hour, okay, very low, but you know that by doing the management yourself, you can be making $35 an hour. Well, the wise choice that would be is to manage the property yourself and pay yourself that management fee. So typically for the management fee, I like to calculate this to be about 10%. So let's call it $120 a month, and this is 10% management fee. And again, let's say if you were to spend time managing the property and it's gonna cost you 5 hours a week to manage your properties, kind of, is it better off spending that 5 hours doing your typical work, or is it better off spending that 5 hours managing property and saving that $120 a month? So you kind of have to ask yourself that question. But generally for me, I like to hire other people so that I can focus on doing my next deal, buying my next rental property. And most professional property managers, they know the law, they know the process, they know how to handle issues, and they have the repair crew and the maintenance team. So it may be better off just going with the property management team because they have scale of economy. The next thing that I factor in is maintenance. Okay. And maintenance, no matter what, I always try to factor in minimum 10%. Now, if the property is brand spanking new, like it was built yesterday, then you're gonna have less maintenance. But I still like to keep and sock away 10% maintenance because you never know in the future. You may have a furnace break that goes down. You may have to replace roof. You may have to replace the water heater. So I like to sock away 10% maintenance in a separate reserve account in case those disasters happen or certain items that need to be repaired. So it's another $120 a month that we're putting it away, okay? Maybe you will have $120 a month in terms of repair, right? Maybe minor things like, hey, the doorknob's broken, or there's a small patch that you gotta do, you gotta replace on a drywall, right? Those may cost $120 a month to do on an ongoing maintenance, okay? The next thing I factor in is 8% for vacancy. Okay, and this vacancy rate may change depending on the market, where it's going, what the economy is like, what the tenants, what the rental market looks like. Are more people renting? Then you're gonna have less for vacancy rate. Are more people buying homes versus renting? Then you're gonna have a higher vacancy rate because there's less candidates to wanting to rent your property. Okay, so 8% of 120. I'm gonna just round it up to saying $100 a month. Okay. All right. The next thing is understanding your property taxes and insurance. Now, this is something that I don't have as a percentage. You have to figure this out by doing your research. Now, where you can go, so let's go and tackle property taxes first. Property taxes, you can go get those, that information at your county tax assessor site. And all you have to do is type in your address in the county assessor site, and it'll tell you, hey, how much you owe for the year. And typically what you want to do is you take the yearly property tax divided by 12 so that you can go ahead and add that to the equation. So let's say the property taxes for this given property, I'm just going to round it up, okay, and say it's $120 a month, okay? That's going to be our property taxes for this given rental unit. You also have insurance, and this is another thing that it's kind of hard to say, hey, this is the amount from insurance no matter what. Insurance rates vary depending on the location, the amenities, safety equipment. Insurance agents will also see how far is a fire extinguisher, fire hydrant from your property. They're going to factor all of that into figuring out what the insurance rate is going to be. So I'm just going to go with the national average, which is anywhere between $70 to $90. So I'm going to go with $80 a month on the insurance. Okay, $80 a month, and that's our insurance. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we got all of our expenses, and you may have other expenses such as utility. You may have to do snow plow if you guys live in a cold state where you may have snow. Maybe you need to factor in snow, landscaping. So we haven't included that, but this is more of a general methodology, a template where to start as far as analyzing your numbers on a rental property. So I'm gonna actually bust out my calculator, and I'm gonna calculate this number for you. You can work this with me and just make sure that my calculator isn't rigged. Okay, so we start at $1,200 a month. Okay, minus the $120 of management, minus another $120 for maintenance. Okay, $100 for the vacancy, $120 for your property taxes, and $80 for your insurance. Okay, so I got a total number. The remaining number is $660 a month. This is what we like to call NOI, net operating income. Okay, NOI. There we go. So once we have the NOI, if you guys are using a loan or financing, you guys know that Daniel and I are big fan of owner financing. So no matter what, we may have some sort of financing in place. Okay, and that's what we like to call debt service. We're servicing the debt. So your debt service, okay, I'm gonna put the phone down. Your debt service, okay, has to fit inside of the $660 a month NOI. If your debt service, aka your loan payment every month, exceeds that $660, well, now you have negative cash flow. Okay, that's not the situation we want to be. If you guys want to have positive cash flow, then yeah, we got to have the debt service fit inside the 660. So let's say we have a purchase price, we got all that done. We've come to a determination that our debt service, our monthly loan payment is, let's say, $500 a month. Okay, $500 a month is our principal and interest payment. That's our debt service. Okay, so already we got, if you guys are thinking PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, we already have the taxes and insurance built into the expenses. Those are operating expenses. Okay, P&I are not considered expenses; those are debt service. So we take $660 minus the debt service. We have what's remaining is $160 a month, and this is our cash flow. Okay, that's what we're after. Cash flow is what puts gas in our vehicle, puts food on the table, okay, the clothes on our backs, the roof over our head. Cash flow is the name of the game. So this is generally how we would go ahead and analyze the deal. If you're doing this more for like a multi-family or a commercial real estate, you're gonna want even more numbers because there's a lot of varying factors that go into in a multi-family. Typically, Daniel and I would ask for a tax form called Schedule E or tax form 8825. Both tax forms give us an idea, and that this is coming from a seller, and I gotta clarify that. So when we're dealing with a seller, with another investor, okay, and that's for a multi-family, if we're dealing with an investor seller, we're gonna ask for the form 8825 or the Schedule E, just so that we can see what they've told the government that they've made in terms of the gross rents and how much do they pay for the expenses and what their NOI is. Okay, some sellers who are, the multifamily world and commercial world, they may give you what's called a profit and loss statement. Sometimes I don't trust it because there's a lot you can do to fudge the numbers. But what they cannot fudge is what they tell to the government as far as how much they're making and how much they're losing and so on. So Daniel and I prefer to get Schedule E's or Form 8825 from the seller if we're dealing with an investor. If you're dealing with another homeowner, they're not an investor, they're just looking to sell their property, they're not gonna have that. So you're gonna have to factor out what the gross rents are based on what the market is telling you and doing this analysis to get the ideal number for the cash flow. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's the general method and the way that Daniel and I like to go and calculate our numbers on a rental property. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them down below in our comment section. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit like on our button, and make sure you hit the bell icon so that you guys are getting notification on next time when we release another video on real estate investing. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, this is Daniel.
And this is Sam.
We are the Kwak Brothers. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see more content value that we put out like this, what should they do, Sam?
Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you guys get notification for our upcoming videos.
That's right.